As both a 49ers and LSU fan, having to deal with speculation on who will be the hopeful savior of a program both in the same year, right? I would have rather gone through the 49ers draft process than this LSU coaching search. Like with the 49ers draft, it was simple. Three candidates that the 49ers could have drafted, right? But for LSU, I think I saw so many different names speculate because of the type of job it is that LSU is, right? And plus the type of person the athletic director Scott Woodward is. And then they finally get their guy, right? And no one was expecting Brian Kelly to be LSU's next head coach. Like if you were to tell anyone after LSU announced that Coach O was going to be fired back in October, right? That Brian Kelly, the winningest coach in Notre Dame history, will take the job, they would have looked at you crazy. Just cause think of for a moment, why would Brian Kelly, as I said before, the winningest coach in Notre Dame history, and was always in contention for the college football playoffs? Heck, Notre Dame is currently fighting for a playoff spot right now, right? Leave that job to go to the toughest conference in all of college football in the SEC. Well, when you think about it a bit, you kind of can make sense of it, right? Here's the thing about Notre Dame. It's hard to recruit there. First off, you got to make sure the recruits meet the academic requirements Notre Dame has, right? Then you have to convince college students, right, to live in South Bend. It is a very tough job to recruit for, which when Notre Dame has gone to the playoffs, you see the talent difference, right? Notre Dame may be a playoff built team, but they're not able to make it to the actual game itself, the national championship game. So when you think about Brian Kelly has probably fought this, right? He can't get farther in the playoffs because of the talent he has to get, right? The requirements of the talent he needs to have, right? And going to LSU, right? Your main competitor is basically the State's Bayou, right? Or heck, the thing that most people say about LSU recruiting is you can ask anyone from any high school student and they say they want to go to LSU, right? There's probably LSU posters in the room, everything. It's the easiest job to recruit for because of Louisiana's talent. So it will make, when you think of a recruiting stance, right? It makes sense for Brian Kelly to go take the LSU job, right? And as I said before, he may have think he reached his peak at Notre Dame. Because think a bit about LSU, right? The last three LSU coaches have won a national championship. If Les Miles and Coach O can win a national championship, then surely the winningest coach in Notre Dame history can win one. Also, another thing. LSU has a 20-year winning season streak, right? It's hard to flat out lose at LSU, which should always be a thing a coach should look at, right? And yes, there are expectations, right? Because, why does LSU need a new coach if one just won a national championship? But here's the thing. Some people think they need to do that, right? They need to know, can they hang with the big boys, right? Can they beat a Nick Saban, a Lane Kiffin, a Jimbo Fisher, and, Kirby Smart, right? He's also in the SEC, right? Can they beat them? And that's a reason why you should like Brian Kelly coming to SEC, right? A name floating around for this job was Lincoln Riley, right? And first off, I don't even know if LSU offered him a contract. I just know no matter what, he had a chance of being in the SEC. And he went to USC in the Pac 12, right? Because he only wants to face one SEC team a year. And here's the thing about it, that's smart, right? And, I respect it, but it shows he was scared to play in the SEC, be it with LSU or Oklahoma. While Brian Kelly, a 60-year-old, head coach who could have easily played the independent schedule Notre Dame has and retire until he wanted to retire, right? Decided to go to the SEC. That's the reason you should like this hire, all right? And the other thing about, I honestly think this as well. He ain't a culture fit, right? For LSU, right? If you spend time at Notre Dame, you're probably not the best fit at LSU. If, like, people are making memes the moment he hears Nick, he's gonna quit. Like, well, here's the thing about it. Coach Ed Orgeron was Louisiana. When you think of Louisiana, you probably think of Coach O, right? And he got fired, right? So as long as that, Brian Kelly does what he does everywhere he has gone and wins, no one will care if he's a culture fit. But that will be it for the day. I just want to, give my thoughts on this Brian Kelly hire. And if you did enjoy my thoughts, like and subscribe, And as well, follow me on Twitter, right there. Next video will be either next week when me recapping the 49ers game, Seahawks week, all that. Gonna be hopefully a good game. And also, unless something comes up with LSU again, like OC or DC, because both Brian Kelly's OC and DC are staying at Notre Dame, and he's hired someone for the job, I'll make a video on that. But yeah, see you guys next time.